Oh, hi everybody. So sorry for the technical difficulties we were having, but we had some fun while we were figuring it out. So thank you all so much for being in this discussion here with us today. I'm very excited to be speaking with my good friend Keith Menin about Creative HQ, about Natiivo Miami as a whole, and this incredible development that's been curated by him and his family, Harvey, the entire team. So thank you, Keith, first of all, for being with us today.
Thank you.
So I thought I'd first give a quick little overview on Creative HQ. So Creative HQ is an office condo. It's 127 creative office condos, about 135 square feet total of sellable space. It's in downtown Miami, in the heart of downtown Miami, right by the Bright Line, the Metro Mover, the American Airlines Arena, the Frost Museum, the Pan Museum. The location is incredible. There's 4 stories of office condo. They start around 290,000 all the way up to 1.5 million, and they start at around 431 square feet, and really as big as you want. You can have one floor plate, you can have the entire 4 floor plates, and then just above that 9 and 10, you've got Natiivo Social, which is curated by Keith and his entire team, which is absolutely incredible as well. So Keith, I always talk about the development as a whole, right? And why it's so important. I mean, it's extremely important for us at One Commercial to be representing such a progressive development. But, you brought in office, you brought in, short-term rental condos, you brought in a really great concept, and you kept everything at a very high level. Tell us a little bit about the whole ecosystem, about your vision, and why Natiivo Miami.
100%. Well, thank you guys and welcome everybody today. This is beyond exciting. So Natiivo Miami to me is really hospitality 2.0. So I'm in the hospitality business. I'm really a hospitality entrepreneur by nature, and we love every aspect of it. So when we found this site, we realized that it was the best site in Miami that we believed. The proximity to the port, to the Metro Mover, to the Bright Line, to all the activity is just phenomenal. So we decided to create one of the tallest and biggest towers called Natiivo, which is really a 57-story vertical building that has different concepts. So although everyone lies on one footprint, we've got some exciting things. So we have a great sense of arrival and retail on the first floor. We're gonna have amazing Creative HQ, which you guys are doing phenomenal at selling, which is this co-work, amazing office with 14-foot ceilings, beautiful glass, really cool brick facade, just really like working for the next generation where, especially in today's environment, where you could either buy an office and use the common areas, you could buy a floor, you can really kind of create whatever people need. Because I think people's environment of working is going to change a little bit. And we want you to be able to kind of tailor whatever you want. People may say the old days of having, everyone under one roof, 10,000-foot office. Now maybe some people work virtually. Maybe there's more of kind of like a home base. And what's great about that is that we have above us Natiivo Social, which is an amazing 70,000 square feet of real programmed amenities. So there's everything from amazing fitness, next generation stuff, from one Peloton gyms to boxing rings to just some amazing fitness stuff. It has incredible activation, which LDV Hospitality from New York City is curating the whole project. So it's going to have an amazing pool deck, sunset cocktail happy hour, speakeasy bar, just programmable space, which all the buyers of the office can actually use. So if you buy an office from us, you're also a member of Natiivo Social, which means that you can actually do your work, hang, get a cocktail after, go to the gym before work, kind of make it where it's a vertical lifestyle as you're working. And then above us, we have a hotel. So when you have clients in town or guests in town, they can also stay there. And above that is the Natiivo Residence. So I know I make it sound like a pretty big building, but 57 stories is big. And we really wanted to kind of create an amazing environment in this location in Miami that someone can really enjoy and really take it to the next level of just home, office, hotel. Now we're really embracing office, stay with us as a transient guest, buy from us a condo, buy from us an office, and we're really embracing the community. So it's one of the most exciting projects I've ever built before.
That's great. And talking about projects that you've built in the past or been a part of, and really everybody that's involved in this, we represented the Gale Residences in Fort Lauderdale, and it sold out remarkably well. But more importantly than that, we're still in touch with a lot of the buyers that are there, and they are absolutely, they couldn't be happier. They couldn't be happier because of the proximity, because of the lifestyle. And at the end of the day, right now, what we're selling, right, is lifestyle. And you said that things are changing. We're going to change the way we live. We're going to change the way we work. And I think we're starting to see a lot of that, right? Like there was an article that came out in the Wall Street Journal, and it was all about the office space. And I don't know about you, but I can't work from home much more. I mean, projects are taking a lot longer. Collaboration is harder. Training is a struggle for me. So I think the way we work is definitely going to change. And when I think about Creative HQ, what excites me the most really is, I talk about it being its own ecosystem, right? And, like you said, you've got the office, you've got the residential, you've got the Natiivo Social with the 70,000 square feet. So if you actually think about what a day in the life of owning at Natiivo Social, whatever component of the development you want to own in, it's all there for you. And people at the end of the day, I think one of the things that are going to change, I think gyms are going to change, restaurants are going to change, bars are going to change. I think what's going to come back quickly is office, resident, things that we really do every single day of our life. And restaurants we don't go out to every day, bars we don't go to every night. But when you're there, you have the ability to have that sense of like security or safety, right?
Sure.
Because you can kind of do it all in one place. And I know that was at the forefront of really the plan and kind of the concept of why. And I know things are still kind of, a moving target within the development, and you're moving with the times very, very quickly, really faster than a lot of people that I know. But it's all really catered around this, and you're doing that now and making these changes now. But I think sort of the concept behind the whole development before the pandemic was centered toward this ecosystem, which was, I think, very progressive and really, really remarkable. So, Keith, talking a little bit specifically about the office condos, I think what we're seeing now in downtown Miami is a big office market. You've got over 22 million square feet in downtown Miami. And I think people lose sight of that sometimes, how big of an office market it is. You've got big employers. You've got Equinix, not to be confused with Equinox. They take up 670,000 square feet. Stearns Weaver, 220,000. Wells Fargo, 150,000. I mean, you've got big office users. But really, to me, what's most impressive about all that is the average price per square foot. I mean, these people are signing leases at $65 a square foot. And I've been talking to some commercial broker friends of mine that are representing some office buildings that are leasing, and those are numbers that people aren't afraid of. So when you look at Creative HQ and you see, well, we're priced, in the, call it mid 500s a foot, I think what's important for everybody to know on this call is that that's a number that the product comes finished, which is, see, we have represented quite a few new development office condos. We've sold out 4 or 5 of them in the last, 3 years. This one being really the most progressive just because of the whole ecosystem, right? But a lot of them don't come finished, right? So you talk about the mid 500s a foot, but you're also talking about $70 to $100 a square foot in TI, which is what it would cost somebody to finish a unit like this. It's all included. So it seems like you guys thought through so much of this. I mean, you guys just did really, really a great job from that standpoint.
Thank you. Well, for us, like you mentioned, we built many buildings, and this wasn't about building another building for a residential or for an office, because that happens, right? It exists. It's kind of fun. It's kind of not really that exciting for me. But what we did here was we wanted to create a real lifestyle. So Natiivo Miami is something that's a true 2.0 in our industry. So what we said was, look, we want to sell residences called Natiivo that are fully furnished, fully done, and offer people a new way to live. So we've done phenomenal. We've sold, over 60% of our residential units already in just our Natiivo residences. Then we wanted to create Natiivo Social to really give something different. So like to your point, there's 2 million square feet of office downtown, but to be honest, it's kind of boring. It's a lobby, it's an elevator, it's a hallway, it's a bathroom
100%.
on the floor, and it's an office, and that's what it is. We want to create a lifestyle. So when I think like Creative HQ, I say to myself, if I'm a lawyer from from Palm Beach or Boca, and I'm going to the courthouse a couple days a week, I would buy an office that comes with beautiful flooring, finishes, everything you need. I would use it as I go there before court. I use the gym. I have my meetings upstairs at Natiivo Social, my cocktail hours if clients fly in town, they stay in the hotel. And now this guy just created with the Bright Line, within 3 miles, he's working, living, socializing, everything in one. So for us, our office, to be honest, like if you call me tomorrow and you guys are selling phenomenal, thank your whole team for that. And you say, Keith, I have Stern Weavers that want 50,000 feet. I'd say to you, it's probably not like their vibe. Like they need the environment they're in. We're looking for more creative PR firms, lawyers, people who run family offices, you know, people who run jewelry stores, people who want to be embraced in the community and that need a creative environment where they can feed off each other. And they're going to want Natiivo Social. They're going to want to maybe live there. You've had some great buyers who have bought condos. And just yesterday, someone who bought a condo just bought an office. So if you see what just happened, they're literally going to live in the building. They're going to work in the building. They're going to have Natiivo Social as their nucleus. Their friends can come stay inside the hotel. And when they walk out the front door, they're in the heart of downtown. So literally, to me, it's a vertical environment that doesn't exist. And we're seeing it in our sales, right? Because, you know, sales kind of tells everything. So, you know, if you look at us, you know, our velocity is doing phenomenal even through this pandemic. And I think this building is the most exciting building built in Miami for those exact reasons. So believe me, I think people are buying units, people are going to buy offices, and they're going to create a lifestyle in this magnificent property.
So that's a great point. You know, yield and returns is something that people are yearning for right now. People are trying to find places to invest, and it's difficult. You look at the stock market; it's very volatile. You look at, you know, different it's very difficult to find sort of where you're going to place your capital. And I think that what's been very successful for us at Creative HQ is that people have seen this as an alternative investment.
Sure.
So, you know, I was reading some reports, and the Miami DDA has Class A rates at $53 per square foot in the DDA. Keep in mind that's average. We've seen 60, 70. Brickell, we're seeing 80. So I think that's a low number. But when you look at that, comparatively speaking, to Doral at 35, Dadeland at 40, Coral Gables at 50, Miami Beach at 50. When you look at Creative HQ from a pure investment standpoint, I think it makes a lot of sense, because when you look at the price per square foot, what you're going to pay for it, and then what you can actually rent it for, it makes a tremendous amount of sense. And we talked about all the people that.
And the other good thing is if you look at an end user who's renting an office downtown and paying, like you mentioned, $40 a foot, and they're plus their parking. If you actually do the math, you could actually invest your capital and buy your own office, like real estate, deeded to you. It'll probably cost you less to own it than to rent an office, because the cost of money on mortgages aren't that high today. All the fees kind of work. So in my opinion, you can actually purchase 2,000 square feet and build your office here and own it and let the real estate appreciate. Because as you mentioned, the price we're selling it, I think, is a bargain. So for someone to buy low, be able to borrow capital low, have their asset, and not worry about paying rent and escalations and CAM charges of buildings that go up and all those things, like, why not own your own space? And you can rent it out when you're done. You could, invite a friend to put a desk and charge him per month. My point is, like, why not own your own desk at the right price in the best building? So to your point, as an investment, it's phenomenal. I would invest in it, and I am. As an end user,
you're pretty invested, I would say. You're pretty invested, I would say.
Yeah, and I also think to buy to make it your office. Look, we have our own entrance to the building. So speak about safety. You can park your own car, not even touch the elevator, swipe your hand, go to your floor, and be in your space. 14-foot high ceilings, open glass, all the state-of-the-art air conditioning systems, all the cleanliness now that this will be probably the most health and wellness building in downtown Miami, especially for office. We're implementing a program that no one's done before, because, luckily we're building through this pandemic, which is a sad thing, but now we can learn and we can adjust to what may be the new norm. So we are spending the time, the energy, and the money to make this building the most health and wellness building. So if I was going to work in an office building, I'd rather be in this brand new building than be in a building downtown that was built in 1982 that they haven't changed a carpet in 12 years, and you have to touch 15 doors to get into. Just be honest with you. Now they're all great facilities, but to me, Creative HQ is different. Like you can't find 14-foot ceilings with natural light anywhere. You can't find, this cool brick San Francisco type industrial facade. You can't find 70,000 feet that you can go literally have a drink. I mean, imagine having Soho House above your office, but times 5. Like that's the environment of literally bring a bag, do your work, go to the gym, meet a friend for a cocktail, maybe buy an apartment and sleep there as well. Maybe it's a pied a terre where, if you're a New Yorker and now you have a firm, Miami, New York, you're living there and working there. I mean, we have buyers now from New York that are literally buying units and buying offices, as you know, and they're like, this is our hub now. Like we are in the best building in Miami and we're good. So, just like you said about Gale Fort Lauderdale, you guys did phenomenal. I remember when we sold out the building, I kept getting calls. People said, Keith, are you really sold out on buyers? And I was like, guys, we're not joking. They actually sold the building out, and we had a list of 25% more people wanted the product when they actually saw what we're delivering. This opportunity, again, pre-construction is always hard. We have amazing renderings and amazing site, but it's one of those things that when they actually start seeing this thing go up, they're going to say, I should have bought that. And either the space won't be available, the price will be significantly higher, or won't, just be there. So for me, it's one of those things that if you have vision, you have some capital, and you know where this world's going, owning a piece in Natiivo Miami, whether it's resi, office, or even being a Natiivo social member is important. But I think owning real estate in this building is just going to be an opportunity of a lifetime.
I agree. I think the buyer profile too that we're seeing now, whether it be residential or commercial, I think it is definitely the more educated buyer, and I think that's why we're seeing people believe in Natiivo Miami really as a whole, and making these investments in both the residential and the commercial. So, Miami-Dade County overall, year over year, it grows, and it's been growing over the last 5 years around 4 or 5% in when it comes to employment growth. In downtown alone, you've got 85,000 people, okay? That makes up 10% pretty much of the entire county's workforce. So you've got a lot of people there. You've got the Port of Miami. I know the Port of Miami has shown some serious interest. So for me, what's important to relay is that it's a very customizable building too, right? So you talked about maybe not a Stearns Weaver, although we would love a Stearns Weaver. I think that's the environment that all offices are moving towards. The whole wellness, the whole one ecosystem for everything. I think once some law firms. I know a good friend of mine. He's listening today. He's a partner at a very reputable law firm. He was interested in this building, and they actually take, I think, 30-some thousand square feet in downtown Miami right now. So I think that the mindset of the consumer has changed. So if the mindset of the consumer has changed, right, you're building the product for that consumer, and you've got the workforce there. I mean, the proven workforce, and then you've got the individuals. And I think that 4% number and that 85,000 number, I think that's only going to grow exponentially as we continue to see people moving.
Yeah, the other cool thing about it is imagine like your friend who's listening and how are you? If a guy like that moves his firm to our building, he'll get clients like me, because I will go to Natiivo to go have lunch upstairs, meet my lawyers. I like being in big volume space. I like 15-foot ceilings. I love openness, right? The odds of me going to his office today and I'm just one client, probably never happening. But if he says, hey buddy, come by Natiivo, it's like, that's like me saying to you, Danny, let's go to lunch at Makoto in Bal Harbor. You feel good in Bal Harbor, right? You go there and we'll meet there anytime. If you say to me, let's meet at, some weird restaurant off of 95, I'm probably not meeting you tomorrow. No offense, but my point is that these people must realize that clients will go to them and they'll get more business by being inside Natiivo. And the other important part about the port you mentioned is, when I say hospitality 2.0, what we created with the sales of Natiivo is we aren't a restricted building. So if you buy an apartment, we are one of the only buildings that actually embraces you that you can go powered by Airbnb, by VRBO. We're powered by the people. So you can buy a unit and enter the Natiivo platform. We'll rent it out for you. But if you want to buy a unit and you want to rent it on your own, you can. And the beautiful thing is, when you think about the Port of Miami is one of the biggest things in Miami, right? Brings in more revenue than anything else does. And we're a couple blocks from there. So we're going to get clients that are going to go on a cruise and they're going to book their post and their pre-cruise at Natiivo. They're going to rent the apartment for a week. They're going to let their kids who don't want to go on a cruise, they want to go to Miami, hang out. The parents are going to cruise. They'll meet. So we're going to have so much of this synergy because our building is so different that imagine the guy with the law firm, like that guy may be one of his clients. Like he could be the CEO of the biggest travel agent company who's looking for Miami firm. So my point is that being in the mix of Natiivo, whether you're owning an office, you're just there hanging out on Natiivo Social, you bought a unit to live in it, or you're a hotel guest, this whole vertical box is going to be electric, and the energy and the excitement of the business is going to be phenomenal. So my thing is that if someone needs an office, there's not a lot of it, right? We're only selling, I think, 110,000 square feet of it. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's not going to exist at some point. And believe me, for me, I would love to hold a lot of it because when it's done, I think it's, people go, what? This was sold for how much? Why didn't I buy it? So for me, if people have the forefront of thinking and they understand the numbers, like you say, which are the numbers, this is a really incredible opportunity that is here now.
Yeah, it's here now. It may not be here for very long, and who knows when the next Natiivo Social kind of Natiivo Miami is going to be created. And I think if you have the vision, I loved the Soho House comparison that you used. I think a lot of people can relate to that. And when you think about Soho House,
was you're familiar with LDV Hospitality? They own
of course, they're out of New York. They're incredible.
They're out of New York. They're the best. They do Scarpetta, Bulgari, London. They're opening W Philly. They do the Montauk and the Hamptons. They're probably the biggest in their segment, the best. And we're actually having them and John Meadow, who's the founder, curate the entire food and beverage for the building. So even the office, if that's your office and you want to have an event or a party or corporate lunches, LDV will cater it for you. So you also have a food and beverage outlet where, you know, if you're in a meeting, you see, we're having a board meeting of 15 guys bringing lunch. Instead of the secretary getting all those flyers and ordering some pita place that's not really great and it shows up late, you're curated by LDV. So for an office, how cool is that? I mean, it's like, you know, like imagine having Scarpetta below you and say, yes, we'll have this. They come up with the carts and the servers and it's all done very cool. And the drinks are great. If you want Prosecco for a closing of a, you know, of a deal in your law firm, we can do a closing party. There's just all these different things that make it, you know, totally unique.
It's incredible. So I want to make sure that everybody that's listening, if you have any questions for Keith or myself, please go ahead and ask them. So I want to make sure to get to any questions that we may have. So Keith, touch a little bit on the residential. I think it's important. I think that, you know, we've had a lot of crossover and, you know, some of the commercial buyers buying resi, et cetera. So touch on that a little bit. I think it's important.
So the residential is amazing. It's 450 units. It is the Natiivo brand. There's units from 1 bedroom to penthouse that are 4 bedroom. We launched sales about 9 months ago, and we have sold to date over 60%, which is unheard of. I think it's probably one of the most successful selling buildings in America today. The lifestyle is great. Our sales center is in the 3rd floor of 10 Museum Park, and Cervera has been doing incredible, and our sales velocity have been unreal. I'll tell you, I'm docu-signing now because of COVID, contracts like you've never seen before. Our sales team is great, and we're having a great mix of buyers. And we had an event about a month before COVID hit, and we invited all of our buyers, and then we did a launch event the next night. And if I tell you the excitement and the energy of everyone who bought there is just phenomenal. And they're buying 2 and 3 units. I mentioned yesterday, a nice gentleman bought an apartment, then he bought one for his daughter, and then he bought an office downstairs for him to use when he's in town. So, you know, people who know about it and are learning, and if you go to our webpage, Natiivo Miami, you can really get into the building, really understand it, and the renderings show a lot. And we've taken a lot of time to really explain it. It's just great. So our residential has been people want to live in Miami and just want a brand new building in this lifestyle. It's the people who want to buy in Miami. I think the market is great. They want to rent it out on our platform, or they may want to rent it on Airbnb, and they want to have a flexible business. And we've also had a lot of guys who are buying because of what's going on in the building. From New York City, we've had a lot of action. A lot of New Yorkers now want to have a home in Miami, an office in Miami, go back and forth. So we had a lot of guys. One runs a big real estate fund out in New York who wants to have an office here. We had another buyer from New York City who's a PR agency who's going to keep New York and wants, you know, a really cool satellite funky office. So the residential has been doing phenomenal, and Cervera has been doing incredible.
So Arquitectonica was the architect. They did a great job. Urban Robot, the interior designer, we've worked with them a bunch. They're incredible. They've got great vision. I mean, I think what they've done here, and it's kind of different for the area, right? You see the brick and then the brick with the modern, and I know that, you know, you're a developer, and I've seen some of the stuff that you've done both on the resi and the commercial side. You do a really good job of including both, and your stuff always sells for top dollar. So I think that the people are seeing that as well. And when you look at downtown Miami, and you're not far from Zaha, you're not far from Miami World Center, you know, et cetera, et cetera. The Freedom Tower, right? I mean, if you look at the Freedom Tower, I mean, if you took the Freedom Tower and you redid the interior the way you redo interiors and Urban Robot does interiors, I mean, I think it'd be one of the most incredible buildings in the area. And you know, the walkability for me, you know, people right now want value, and that's why I touched it. It's you know, we've sold to a lot of end users, but people right now want value. And when you look at Miami and you look at it as such a growing city, when you drive down Biscayne Boulevard, to me, right, Biscayne Boulevard seems like you're driving down Park Avenue or Fifth Ave in Manhattan. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful streets, and at the same time, it's one of the streets with the most amount of growth. And there's already a lot of important touch points, right, with the PAM, Frost Museum, art performing arts centers. I mean, sometimes people lose sight of that. Two incredible performing arts centers are a pitching, you know, wedge away from the building. So people ask, what's the center of Miami? And, you know, a lot of times people talk about Brickell because maybe, you know, it's got a little bit more pizzazz. Or downtown Miami is the center of Miami. And now with the expansion of the 395 and everything that they're doing there, it's, you know, looking, you know, 10 years down the road, I think people are going to look back and say, why didn't I buy there? How couldn't I have seen
Just
this?
like you, I grew up here, right? So I'm fourth generation, and my family's been in Miami Beach since 1920. So I've seen all this evolve. I actually lived when I was 15 years old at the Plaza Venetia that my family developed, which was literally right across the Omni when it was a deserted town. So I've been going up and down these streets since I was a baby. And believe me, you know, if you actually look at 1994, which seems not that long ago, a picture of downtown Miami where we are today and the Omni, and when there's no arts center, there's nothing around. And it's funny because my uncle's been buying land in Miami forever, and he buys pieces of land like you and I buy different shirts. And I would say to him, why are you buying a piece of land over there? And he would look at me and would say, don't worry, eventually things are going that way. Tides always follow it. So my family's done incredible in buying land, probably more land than anyone else in this town, all over, because we always knew this would happen the way. And you're right, because it used to just be what is Miami Beach, but now you have almost like New York with 5 boroughs. You have Miami Beach, you have Wynwood, you have downtown, you have Brickell, now you have Edgewater. So there's all these different cool areas that have popped up. And where we are, I kind of look at it's kind of like the 50-yard line, right? Because we're in a position where we have all the action in downtown Miami. The port is 2 blocks away. The airline arena, all the concert basketball is literally a block from us. To the south, you have Brickell, you have Coconut Grove, and that whole world. To the north, you have Biscayne Quarter, Edgewater, a tad bit west is Wynwood, and to the east, you have South Beach. So we look at it as we're actually in a spot where if you go to the top of our building when it's done, which will be, 570 feet high or whatever it's going to be, and you look around, you're going to see all this connectivity. And your point exactly, the location is incredible. I mean, I went there a couple weeks ago, and we were riding, I was riding my bike and I was riding around and just seeing little restaurants pop up, little bars. The World Center's getting finished. The bridges got fixed. I mean, everything is just moving in such a cool direction that, like you said, like it's like Manhattan. It's like there's areas of Manhattan now where you say, like, who didn't think Brooklyn would be this, right? But it just overall it happens before your eyes. It changes. And either you bought real estate before or you buy it at a higher price, but the change happens. So that's the good value today, is I think, it's like we're selling Brooklyn, but it hasn't became Brooklyn yet. If that makes any sense. We are
of course
selling what it's gonna be, and we're selling with the creation that we see coming. So the guys that kind of see your insight, they're gonna get in great. And like I said, people will go, I should have bought an office condo, they'll have to buy a resale, to wait in line to get one.
That
waiting list.
And that's what I was going to say. I mean, I bet you if you ask a lot of these law firms, we've talked a lot about law firms, but you know, we're really working with a lot of different people. But if you talk to some of the name partners of some of these big law firms, if you could have 10 years ago bought the 30,000 square feet that you've taken now and had, you know, put 20-year debt on it at a very low interest rate and had it pay 50% paid off, would you have done it? And how much more valuable would you be because of it, right? I mean, they all would say yes. They all would say yes. And
100%.
that is what makes office condos so interesting. And that's really why a lot of people
and
have shown a lot of it.
You know, you guys came up with a deal yesterday with a firm who wants to buy a half a floor from us. So it'll be about 20,000 feet of their own space. And to your point, their thought was their whole team is relocating to Miami, and some execs live in Broward, so they can, you know, use the Bright Line. They can use the Metro that drops off literally on our corner. And they're like, we're going to buy and build our headquarters for the next 15 years, and we know we're going to be operating this company, whatever it is. And we're going to make it our own and customize it and do the layout and do what fits for them. And they want all the open workspace. So imagine having, you know, 12-foot glass with little fine black mullion and 15-foot ceiling. Like, you're not going to get that where you're going to see this brightness. And they're smart, and they'll probably buy a half a floor and then they're done. So like in their minds, they're not renting, they're not signing leases. There's no cam going up in the building because the office tower took out more debt and everyone's price went up and it's in your lease and you can't fight it. All those things that are kind of the downer of renting office, they're going to take. Plus, money to borrow is the cheapest it's been since I've seen, and probably the cheapest we're ever going to see. So when
it's as close to zero as it's going to get.
Yeah, so they're like, Keith, for the next year, we're okay working virtually, right? Then we're going to design our space. You're going to build it out for us. We're going to buy it from you guys and finance it. We know what it is. We're now all members of Natiivo Social, so now our employees get a perk. We have more parking than anybody. Plus, across the street, I think Dade County has about 1,000 public spaces right across the street from us. So we have parking, we have Natiivo Social, we've got a hotel. Like, we have everything where these people are saying, okay, like, we don't even want to rent the space, let us own it. So in my opinion, what I've been telling people is, if you're going to buy an office or you're going to rent an office again, this is the space you want if that's your DNA. So again, the reason we called it Creative HQ is it's creative, right? So, you know, what I mean is that the space may not work for everybody. So for example, you know, if you are a finance commodity trader who's a single purpose guy and you work when the Asian markets are open and you want anything social, you just want an office and nothing, I'd say to you, maybe go to their building, because that's not what we are, right? But if you're a finance guy who has, you know, 6 guys trading for you and you want to have a cool environment with LDV cured in your food, great fitness, great spa, all your clients stay in our hotel, you're in the best location, and the CEO may even live in the building and his younger guy may be renting in the building, that's our environment, and that's what we're seeing.
That's incredible. So I think what's important too to note about that is that the square footage is range, right? So, you know, you don't have to take 20,000 square feet like a law firm. I think what's really great is if you are starting a law firm, or you are starting a creative company, or you are an entrepreneur of sort, you can just buy 431 square feet, and the pool to rent that kind of square footage is growing. I mean, we shrunk. I mean, we thought, based on the other developments that we've represented, we thought we were going to lease more square footage, bigger square footage space, bigger, like the spaces being larger, right? We actually shrunk the sizes a little bit because of the demand, and the demand has proven to be strong in that. So I think the reality is that we're all kind of watching the way we do business, but the other reality is this is going away. If it's not, you know, fourth quarter this year, it's first quarter next year. This pandemic and this virus and whatever you want to call it, it's going away. And you have to have the foresight to be able to say, okay, in my business, what is it going to look like in the next 6 months, 1 year? And how am I going to operate moving forward? So maybe the user that, and this is what we experienced, maybe the user that wanted 2,000 square feet says, now I only need 500.
Right, and that's what we're seeing, right? Like,
yeah,
like the nice guy who bought a unit from Cervera, who just bought a unit in Creative HQ. He said, you know what? I'm buying an apartment. My daughter bought an apartment. She's going to UM. He's like, you know what? Maybe I'll take 1,200 square feet. I'll put an assistant in Miami. I'm going to work when I'm here. And we said, great. And literally, he can customize it. So to your point, and that's why we didn't create a building where it's defined spaces where you have to choose like a condo A, B, or C. Do what you want. Like if you want a half a floor, great. If you want 480 square feet, great. If you want 3,000 square feet, great. If you want a space that is designed a certain way, we'll do it for you. So we really have kept it open floor plan and for the end user. So I guess my thing is that anyone who wants to have this kind of a vibe and be in this kind of a building, whether you're going to live here and buy an office or just buy an office and maybe rent an apartment, this checks every box. Because the other buyer we had 2 days ago who bought a unit from New York, he also bought a condo, and his assistant wants to rent the unit in our building, small unit, and his partner wants to rent the unit. So now you have their whole New York team is in Natiivo Social. In Natiivo. They're going to work there, they're going to live there, they're going to hang out there, they're going to entertain there, and they're going to embrace the community. And literally, like, people who are actually on the webpage and understanding what we're doing here are getting it. People just think it's a building that's tall by Architectonica and has a lobby and has a gym and is for sale. It's much, much more. And that's why we're being so successful.
So the parking, how's the parking going to work? I know we're at about 3 per thousand, not the ballet, but do you want to touch on the parking? That's a question that we had from somebody.
Sure. Yeah. So we have a lot of parking. We're building over 300 parking spaces. The parking will be valet. So like most buildings, a fee for it, but it's worked into your dues, or your rent, or your purchase, and we figure out the financials. It hasn't completely been determined 1,000%, but we have parking, which is a great news. And we also have the lot across the street that the city owns, which is over 1,000 spaces, which is always has space for daily, for monthly rental. So we have tremendous parking, and I think a lot of our people are going to use public transportation and Brightline and the Metro Mover that drops off literally on our corner. So we have plenty of parking for residents, for office residents, and also for members of the Natiivo Social.
Thank you, Keith. So I think there's somebody that didn't get the opportunity to hear about the vibe and the feel of Natiivo Social, and they're saying there's nothing like it in the market that exists, and that is true. We use Soho to be like the closest comp, but give another quick summary of the vibe. I know you're a big vibe guy.
Sure. So Natiivo Social is, and if you go to our webpage, you can see the updated renderings, and I'm also happy if you guys want to send me an email to send you direct stuff. Natiivo Social, we wanted to create what we thought would be the best spaces ever for people to actually enjoy and activate. So we took 3 floors, 70,000 square feet from east to west. So it's probably one of the largest floor plate you've ever seen. So as we've all walked down that hallway of Soho House, when you get out of the elevator and you get to the bar and it's that nice boutique hallway, imagine that, but it doesn't end. But along the way, there's something everywhere you go. So when you first get off, you're going to be in the middle, which will have an amazing 4,000 square foot room designed very cool and funky and eclectic, which is a work hangout space. So it'll have from a pool table to chairs to tables to a conference table, and you could literally have a coffee, work on your earpads, have a meeting, have a little snack, and that's this mixed-use, very cool urban robot design inspired spectacular room. Probably one of the best room designs I've seen yet. If you make a left, you're going to go to our West Terrace, which is, we call the Sunset Cocktail Terrace, because we're going to be up really high, beautiful terrace with a bar, and it's going to have LDV curating and drinks and canopies and awnings and greenery, and that's going to be kind of the spot where you can hang out. Again, you can work, you can have dinner, you can have lunch, but the sunset there and the music and the vibe is going to be phenomenal. And if you walk toward the west, you're going to pass a speakeasy bar that'll be open at nighttime. You're going to pass our pool, which we have one of the biggest pool decks with cabanas, day beds, activation of bars, and that's kind of like our fun floor. Then we have this iconic 3-story staircase, which is phenomenal. You've never seen something built like this in your life, but you could actually go down, and 1 floor below will be our fitness area, and there'll be a great reception desk, and you're going to have about a 30,000 square foot fitness facility, which is, I just actually saw the renderings today. I have to tell you, I was more excited than anything else. It has the coolest brick boxing bags, gym, climbing walls, 1 Peloton studios, big 30-foot glass that opened up to an outdoor track, which is just looking at down, like looking at the water, a juice bar, spa, hammam, locker room. It's going to be a total wow like you've never seen before. And then if you take the stairs once below us, you're actually in Creative HQ, which we're carving off a little piece for our members to co-work in this space. So if you're a member at Creative HQ and you want to pop down and just go on your laptop for a minute or have a quick meeting, there'll be a space that you can book in advance, and you can almost like rent the rooms for a minute and be in that environment. So we're really creating this vertical area that is just going to be connected by this staircase that is long and incredible. And then right above us is our 160-room hotel. So now you're going to have this amazing boutique hotel and that vibe mixed in. So when you're in the gym, it's not just going to be your coworkers. It's going to be people from up north staying there, which you can also network and do more business with. It's going to be people who are members also networking. So we're creating this vibe where you're going to have members, owners who live there, renters who live there, owners of Creative HQ, and also transient guests, all mixed in this massive building with the coolest vibe and design. And it's all about creative energy, meeting, networking, doing business, lifestyle. So what we're creating is really this kind of vertical energy that is going to be spectacular. And that's why I always say that if you go to our webpage, you'll see a lot of it on it. And we also have updated renderings coming out, and also our social media on Natiivo Miami. Every week we're going to start now curating the different phases of the project. So one week will be about downtown Miami, one will be Natiivo Social, one will be Creative HQ, because we feel like everyone should get all of what we're doing there. So this way you're going to actually learn, almost like reading a book, each chapter. You're going to learn everything about the project every single week. So in the next 10 weeks, you're going to go, wow, I get every aspect, because there's so many cool things we're doing. It's hard to get it out there. But the message has been out there, and we've been selling phenomenal. So I would definitely urge people, if this is the vibe you're looking for, to buy an office, to buy an apartment, to rent an apartment one day, or be a member, this is where you want to be.
How's that for the vibe? That was a great explanation. Amazing. So a couple more questions. So our office is set up for smaller companies and startups. I think that's yes, right? I mean, a hard yes. Small offices, large offices, really
Absolutely.
whatever it is that you're looking for, we can cater to it. And don't forget, built out and built out incredibly. So somebody's asking, are we seeing offices come back harder than ever due to the home production starting to suffer? I'll take that one. I think that the answer is sort of. We've definitely seen an uptick as of recent, and that's why you're starting to see the articles coming out in the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times and all the big publications start to write about it. So, from my standpoint, I can tell you that my company is suffering from it tremendously. I mean, I said earlier, the projects are taking longer, the collaboration is not the same, the training is not the same, and we're going to get over this, and we're going to get over this quicker than everybody thinks. And if you watch the market, the analogy that I like to use is if you watch the stock market, right? And anytime there's the smallest inkling of there being a vaccine coming, the market just skyrockets. Why? Because people's confidence just picks up immediately. And you've got to get in now, because once there really is a vaccine that's found, that upward trend is going to affect every single asset class within real estate.
100%.
We're experiencing
it now. We really have. I mean, we started with 110,000 square feet of sellable office, and we've sold tremendously well. So we don't really have such large quantity of space. So unlike these office buildings that have 800,000 square feet of office, we're boutique and we're cool. So eventually, we're not going to have much more. And to your point, this will pass, right? Our building's not going to be delivered for another, 2 years. So people who think they want this vibe should grab it, because, there's not a lot of it, right? It's supply and demand. So, as I'm explaining the vibe of this building, which I'm trying to help the best I can, the advice I would give is that if you feel like this is an environment that you want to be in, and if you go to our webpage and that kind of makes you feel like incredible, then you need to buy this space, because money's cheap, supply is not a lot of it. our flex space is great. We're happy to build out. So if you get someone who needs, if the law firm needs 20,000 feet, but they need specific layouts and ideas, we'll do it for them. We have no problem doing the construction for them. I don't want people to think it's just concrete floors and exposed AC ducts and have fun. We want to make it easy for them. So, if someone buys a space and says, we actually need this kind of floor and this kind of layout and do these things, we need soundproofing, like, we're here to do whatever people want because we want everyone to be happy and have the best building. So to your point, this will pass. The vaccine will come out. People will get back to life, whether it's today, tomorrow, 6 months, I don't know when, but it will happen. And I think people who are buying from us today know that, and they're trying to be ahead of the curve and say, you know what, we know this will pass. We'll all go back to the offices. We will rethink the space we need. Maybe we don't need 8,000 feet. Let's go 6,000 feet. And, look, like my assistant works now virtually away from me. And if I tell you we're doing great, so like I don't need to have the connectivity so close anymore. So like if I was buying an office now, instead of my office that's 8,000 feet, I would go down to like 3,000 feet and go virtual and just have my core people, and it's cool. So like I think they're going into that wave as well, which I like. And I also think a lot of buyers of Creative HQ are realizing that they're going to network and get business from this building. So when you're housed in Natiivo Miami, you're going to have, I don't know, thousands of people a day around you. 160 hotel rooms always full, 420 apartments, Creative HQ, beautiful retail below with amazing food and beverage activated. So, there's going to be activation. So if you're in a profession where you're looking for business, we all rely now on social media and on virtual and word of mouth. I mean, you're going to be at the 50-yard line. It's like going to Times Square when it's busy and saying, I want to meet someone. Like, just do a circle. Like you get dizzy. So we're going to have some great people around us.
So I remember when Related was doing the deal in Manhattan and Time Warner Center, and they say Time Warner Center is like the 50-yard line of Manhattan or whatever, and they started selling to all these athletes, and it kind of reminds me of what's going on now in downtown Miami. As you know, we did the penthouse deal for David Beckham in downtown Miami. So it's changing. It's at the 50-yard line. It's actually what's changed the most is that it's become a luxury market. So people really want to spend a lot of time there. They want to be there, and they'll of course want to be at Natiivo Miami. One thing I did want to mention, Keith, is our new incentive that we're offering, which is absolutely incredible. It's never been done before.
I was actually waiting for you. This is the most exciting thing we've ever done. That's ever been done. I was wondering if you're waiting for the good at the end or when, but please.
You've got to save the best for last, right? So we're offering a 5% return on deposits over 40% and a 4% return on deposits under 40%. It's something that, when you talk about yields and chasing yields, I don't know where I can find a 4 or 5% return right now where I'm going to be able to use a space down the road. And with such, what's really important is the development group behind this project. They're solid, they're well funded. This building's getting built. So when you've got a group like that offering you that kind of return in this environment, if you can find 4 or 5% return, please write your name, and I want to invest with you, because it's hard to find. And the fact that you guys are offering that is absolutely incredible. I don't know if you want to touch on that, but that incentive, I mean, is out of this world.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. We believe in being innovative in the market when we sell something. We don't compete with the competitors and drive things up. So, if someone's offering 1%, I don't offer 2%. It's not our style. But with this thought behind it, to your point, Danny, is that we want people to be happy, and I want to help people get office they want, because I know people are going to want this space when it's done. So what I'm saying to the market is, look, guys, stock market goes up and down. Currency's going up and down in the euro. People are where to put their money. Everyone wants to invest. Every day people are saying to me, Keith, where to invest? So what we did was, listen, guys, put up your money. We're going to pay you an amazing return on it, which, as you mentioned, is hard to get. So now, not only are you locking in real estate, you're getting a return on your investment. You're customizing your space. And what we're really trying to do is keep people happy. And the market has been perceiving this as unbelievable. I mean, the nice gentleman who actually bought the office yesterday, who bought the condo, was like, Keith, this is incredible, making 4% of my money, of my deposit. I get the space I want. And he thought it was just for him. He's like, how much you guys like me? I said, no, this is for everyone now for the next 60 days, I believe. So this isn't something forever because it is phenomenal, but I believe for the next 60 days, we're going to offer this out to the market. And it's something that people should really think about and take into accountable, because if you get interest on your money, you have inexpensive money to borrow for financing if you need it today, or if you pay cash, it's also great. You can customize your space. There's not a lot of square footage left. You're in the most exciting, vibrant building that's going to be in Miami ever. You know, that's what I want people to get, because really, you know, I've built and sold, you know, hundreds of $1 millions of real estate. I've developed over 1,000 individual units myself, and my family has done probably over 100,000, you know, across America, and I'm one of the largest condominium developers there are. And what we always pride ourselves as a family is we want buyers who are happy and buyers that love the product. We always try to build great things and deliver great assets, and this is one of them. So what I want is people to buy this building, so when I see them, they go, Keith, I love my office. I can't thank you more. Or my buyer in the building says, Keith, this is amazing. Look at what you guys did at Natiivo Social. So we are really curating our buyers, our building, the vibe, the energy, all of this. And that's something that a lot of people don't do. So yes, the 5% interest on your money is not something forever. It's something for now. So I would seriously get with One Sotheby's. I would look at some floor plates. I would think about how you're going to work in the next 2 years of your life. And if you are going to be doing Miami and New York, which is happening a lot, or if you just want to have an office, this is the time to look at it now.
Keith, thank you. You know, a lot of developers say it. We represent quite a few developments, basically from Cocoa Beach, I mean, 250 miles north down to the Florida Keys. And you know, a lot of times people are weary of what the end product's going to look like. And I can tell you from firsthand experience in working with Keith that his products are absolutely incredible. You can walk in them, you can see them, you can touch them, you can feel them. But, you know, most importantly, the people that are living in them now feel the same way.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is really at the core and at the foundation of this development, because sometimes it's easier to sell on paper, to be completely honest with you.
Sure.
I think with your developments and the way you curate things and sort of the whole vibe and concept behind what you try to create, it's sometimes I wish I could like mock it up and scale model and walk through it and actually do it, because the vibe that you feel is really hard to show on paper. But the website's incredible. Check it out. Make sure to check out Natiivo Miami, the whole ecosystem that's been created here by Keith, his family, the whole group. And, you know, Keith, thank you so much. You were so articulate. And I think hopefully everybody on this call got to experience just a little bit of what Natiivo Miami is going to be like. And I hope you all reach out. If you have any questions, please email any of us. The sales team's here to help you. The sales center, please visit it. It's incredible. Keith, again, thank you. I don't know how you do it. You've got two beautiful, beautiful baby girls, a beautiful wife, a beautiful family, and you know, you're obviously building a beautiful building. So thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. We're excited. Hopefully everyone learned a lot about Natiivo today, because it's one of our most exciting things we've ever done.
I think everybody did. Thank you again, and thank you to everybody for attending. We really appreciate it.